Welcome to our channel. In the late 1970s, Cuba intervened in a brutal war between Ethiopia and Somalia. The Ogaden War began in July 1977, when Somalia, under the leadership of Siad Barre, invaded Ethiopia with the goal of annexing the Ogaden region, which was largely inhabited by ethnic Somalis. However, Ethiopia was not alone for long. Within a few months, thousands of Cuban soldiers arrived at the front. Leading the Cuban forces on the ground was General Arnaldo Ochoa, one of Cuba's most experienced commanders. After their arrival in early 1978, and following months of Somali occupation in eastern Ethiopia, a powerful counteroffensive began to take shape. Respected for his tactical skill and his ability to gain the trust of local allies, Ochoa played a crucial role in the planning and preparation of operations. While Soviet General Vasily Petrov held overall command, it was Ochoa who led the tactical execution on the ground, applying Soviet-style tactics with a practical understanding of the African context. The turning point came in late January 1978, during the Battle of Harar. Somali forces launched a massive flanking attack in an attempt to capture the city. But this time, they faced an organized resistance. For the first time, Cuban troops directly engaged in combat, supporting Ethiopian units with artillery and armored vehicles. As planes bombed Somali lines, Cuban ground forces helped halt the frontal assault. The battle ended in a decisive defeat for Somalia. Between January 23 and 27, Ethiopian forces, backed by Cuban armored brigades, launched a rapid counterattack. They recaptured the city of Fedus and seized a major weapons cache. The Somali offensive was completely shattered. From then on, Ochoa and his allies executed a campaign based on maneuver, surprise, and mobility. On February 2, Cuban troops led the 9th Brigade's attack on Hariwa, surprising Somali defenders from the rear. The city was abandoned without resistance. In Jeldesa, a similar tactic forced another Somali retreat. During these advances, Cuban-Ethiopian forces captured dozens of tanks and artillery pieces. But the biggest challenge still lay ahead: the recovery of Jijiga, the final objective of the campaign. Somali troops had heavily fortified the approach to Jijiga with trenches, minefields, and obstacles. They expected a frontal assault through the Marda Pass, but Ochoa decided to flank the defenses completely. A Cuban armored brigade, equipped with over 60 tanks, took an alternative route through the Shebele Valley, crossing rugged and muddy terrain. On February 17, they captured the town of Arabi, lost it, then retook it on the 24th and continued advancing. Meanwhile, Militia Brigade 69, praised by both Cuban and Ethiopian commanders, advanced on foot through the mountains under heavy rain, dragging artillery and armored vehicles along narrow trails. By February 28, they had crossed the mountain range and were in position to attack. Cuban air forces struck enemy positions with intensity. On March 4, while the 10th Brigade attacked from the west, another group led by Cuban General Leopoldo Sintra delivered the final blow from the northeast. Somali defenses collapsed, and on March 5, at 9 a.m., Jijiga was liberated. The liberation of Jijiga, led by Ochoa, was a flawless military operation. Tanks, artillery, infantry, and aviation all worked in unison. By the end of March, Somali forces had been expelled from most of the occupied territory in the Ogaden. Ochoa returned to Cuba a hero. But a decade later, his story would take a dramatic turn. In 1989, General Arnaldo Ochoa was accused of drug trafficking. Despite his legacy, Ochoa was executed by firing squad, in an episode that shocked the nation and fueled suspicions that he had been used as a scapegoat. His achievements were erased from the official history by the Cuban government. Keep watching our videos to learn more about Cuba's military history.